He continually inspires us to apply our talents and efforts to the progress of creation. Let us together then praise God as we say, "Blessed be God forever." In commanding us to work, you entrust us with building up the world you created. Let us bless the Lord. Blessed be God forever. In entrusting to us the dignity of work, you make us your own co-workers in the world. Let us bless the Lord. Blessed be God forever. You continually enlighten us with the vision to build new things that glorify your name and make all the earth resound with your praises. Let us bless the Lord. You sent your Son into the world to be for us a model of untiring toil, as he sanctified and exalted labor by the sweat of his own brow. Let us bless the Lord. You direct all our actions by your holy inspiration, and you carry them on with your gracious help. Let us bless the Lord. Blessed be God forever. Heavenly Father, the fullness of blessing comes down from you. To you, our prayers of blessing rise up. In your kindness, protect your servants who will work on this project and who stand before you devout, bearing the gifts that you have given them. Grant that our hard work may contribute to the perfecting of your creation and provide a decent life for ourselves and our family members. Help us to strive for a better society and to praise and glorify your name always. We pray, Lord, that during this project, that you will grant us patience. Patience to wait on you. Patience to deal with all the inconveniences of this project, the traffic diversions. We pray for protection from rock slides and mudslides for all those who will be on this project. And we pray, Father, that it will be completed in a timely fashion for the glory of your name and for the growth of our people in this part of Dominica. We ask all this through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Please be seated. Your Excellency, Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Scarrett, Your Excellency Charles Savre, former President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Savre, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, Minister for Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, and Parliamentary Representative for the Grand Bay constituency, Honorable Fidel Grant, Minister for Public Works and the Digital Economy, Honorable Julian Defoe, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy, with specific responsibilities for fisheries and the blue economy, and Parliamentary Representative for the Petit Savan constituency, Honorable Shakira Lockhart-Hippolyte, Minister of State in the Ministry of Public Works and the Digital Economy, with specific responsibilities for public utilities, telecoms and broadcasting, and Parliamentary Representative for the Roseau South constituency. Other members of Cabinet, Your Excellencies, the members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Members of Parliament, Your Worship, Sandra Royer, Mayor of Roseau, Ms. Karine Privot, Secretary to the Cabinet, Mr. Emil Lancelot, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and the Digital Economy, other Permanent Secretaries, Mr. Malcolm Gear, Development Director for the Caribbean and UK Director to the Caribbean Development Bank, Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones, Vice President Operations Acting of the Caribbean Development Bank, representatives of Sotradom and OCM Inc., chairpersons of the Southern Village Councils, Father Branca John, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. What a glorious day. And we will now ask Honorable Julian Defoe, Parliamentary Representative for the Petit Savan constituency, to give us a true welcome.
No, man.
Your Excellency, Sylvani Bertel, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica. The Honorable Ruth Scarrett, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Scarrett. Your Excellency, Charles Sovereign, former President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Sovereign. The Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Business, Trade and Energy, and the parliamentary representative from my neighboring constituency, Grand Bay. The Honorable Fidel Grant, Minister for Public Works and Digital Economy. Other honorable members of Cabinet. Your Excellencies, the members of the Diplomatic Corps. Your Worship, Sandra Ermin Roy, Mayor of Roseau. Mrs. Karen Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet. Mr. Emils Lancelot, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works and Digital Economy. Other permanent secretaries, Mr. Malcolm Greer, Development Director for the Caribbean and UK Director and the Caribbean and UK Director to the Caribbean Development Bank. Mrs. Teresa Turner Jones, Vice President of Operations Acting of the Caribbean Development Bank. Mrs. Colin Roberts, Director, Major Capital Projects Office, Sotradom Limited and OCM Inc., Chairpersons of the Southern Village Councils, Father Branca John, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, the Petit Savan constituency, the Grand Bay constituency, the Roseau South constituency, I am delighted and indeed today very excited to welcome our distinguished guests, constituents, and well-wishers to the groundbreaking ceremony for the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road and Bridge Rehabilitation Project, Phase 1, in perhaps one of the most scenic parts of the island. A project which will bring about much-needed resiliency against extreme climatic conditions to 10.4 kilometers of road infrastructure, which includes 5 bridges, slope stabilization interventions, improved drainage, road widening, and road realignment. Our ambition to become the first climate-resilient country in the world, as articulated by the Honorable Prime Minister, post-Hurricane Maria, is motoring along, and we will eventually get to its ultimate destination under this Labour Party government. Thank you. We are gathered here in Geneva, Grand Bay, for this momentous occasion and celebration which is most fitting, as this geographic space historically symbolizes the will for self-determination and the development of ordinary citizens, synonymous with this government's mission. Many of us who are from the area, from the south, would know very well of the stories of the Geneva estate. Additionally, our ceremonial location straddles between the two constituencies, Grand Bay and Petit Savan, whose constituents will be the primary beneficiaries of this project, improving significantly the driving experience and the safety of commuters. It's been a long time coming, mainly due to very well-known circumstances and adversities, such as Hurricane Maria, and elaborate technical processes that has to be conducted. You cannot bypass with the Caribbean Development Bank and also officials from the government. Therefore, I wish to take the opportunity to thank the government officials, technicians, regional and international partners who has remained steadfast to ensure that we are finally here today, signifying a launch of this very critical project. Furthermore, thanks to the direct beneficiaries of this project for their patience and confidence in this Labour Party government that this project will be implemented despite all obstacles. Today's milestone is not isolated, but part of a greater development plan by this government, which has manifested itself and quite visible in different parts of this nature island as we gather here. Namely, the greatest capital project to be undertaken in the history of the Commonwealth of Dominica, which is the construction of an international airport, the ambitious cable car project to the Bording Lake, the first to 100% renewable energy by 2030 through the ongoing construction of a geothermal power plant in the Roseau Valley, the East Coast Road project transforming the Kalanago territory, and the Castle Bruce, the modern marina complex to accommodate luxury yachts in Portsmouth, and other major capital projects soon to commence. Moreover, I am particularly optimistic about the employment opportunity that the project will provide to individuals who are seeking meaningful employment, and I have already started to receive expressions of interest from both men and women alike. I have had the privilege to see the economic impact that such a project can have on the ordinary household, as seen through the East Coast Road project in the Calago territory and Castle Bruce, respectively. Therefore, I am humbly asking the contractors present here today to please give special consideration to our constituents, especially the engagement of women. On behalf of our constituents, I am assuring the contractors that once the implementation phase has commenced, we will be patient, we will be tolerant, we will be understanding, and we will be accommodating for the greater good of our communities and nation as a whole. Once again, welcome to this momentous occasion in the most scenic part of Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Defoe. And yes, it is benefit to the southern part of Dominica, but I dare say this is a national project, and all of us are excited about it. And for sure, the Honorable Vince Henderson, parliamentary representative for the Grand Bay constituency, is even more elated and would like to issue some remarks at this time. Please welcome.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Sylvanie Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton, Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Scarrett, distinguished members of the head table, Cabinet, Parliament, must recognize, lest I deprive myself of my blessings, Father Branca John, our parish priest, and of course, let me take the opportunity to welcome to Grand Bay Malcolm Gray, Development Director for the Caribbean and UK to the Caribbean Development Bank, Director of the UK to the Caribbean Development Bank, and Mrs. Teresa Turner-Jones, Vice President Operations Acting of the Caribbean Development Bank, senior public officers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the good people of the Grand Bay constituency. And I will also take the opportunity to thank the Member of Parliament for the Pittsburgh constituency for welcoming me to this part of my constituency. Thank you very much. And I hope, as obtained with Dr. Daru, that you remember to give me safe passage through Bellevue and Pichley. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been waiting. We have been waiting. Great anticipation for the construction of the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road. But interestingly, people don't refer to it as Loubiere to Bagatelle. It's the Grand Bay Road. And this Grand Bay Road, the highlight of which has been the Mitcham Bridge. Now, for the life of me, when I came to Grand Bay, I remember Ed, and may his soul rest in peace, and I'm hoping we're doing this for him as well, because he was a strong advocate of this Grand Bay Road project. So I came here to see what Ed was talking about once in Parliament, explaining about the Mitcham Bridge. So I looking for Mitcham Bridge. I don't want to ask anybody to embarrass myself. But it's really not a bridge, It's a kind of, it's not even a crossing, because water passing on top of where you walk. So soon it will be the Mitcham Bridge. So, Prime Minister, I want to thank you profusely for continuing your efforts at ensuring that today we can be here to witness the signing of Phase 1 of the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. Because I know this has not been easy. This grant funding from the UK has been promised for several years. And there have been, at least from my knowledge, 3 attempts to issue a contract for this road project. And sometimes we don't talk enough so people don't know what's going on. We tried 3 times to get it right. And first time, way above budget. The second time, still way above budget, in spite of the modifications that were made. And the third time, we were above budget. But this time, with the support of Creed and the engineer, I want to recognize the team from Creed at the time, and in particular, Ambassador Francine Barron, for their relentless efforts to ensure that we could get this project to work. I also wish to take the opportunity to recognize and thank the government of the United Kingdom. During the time while we were waiting the construction of this Loubiere to Bagatelle Road, the United Kingdom government found itself in its own fiscal and economic difficulties. The impact of COVID almost devastated their economy. And the government of the UK at the time took the decision to roll back on some of their international funding. But I want to say thank you very much that you did not cut the funding of this road. I remember when I met your then Foreign Secretary. We met in Kingston, Jamaica, and I pleaded with him the importance of this road. And of course, in London with your minister responsible for the Caribbean. And we continue to make the plea. And what I was encouraged by most is every time I said to them, you know, the road actually goes to my constituency. They say, we understand. Because one thing a politician understands is the power of the people. And I have to thank them because they continue to make representation on our behalf to ensure that we can get this project done. So I want to thank you in a very special way. The Caribbean Development Bank, I know, has been involved in this project for a very long time. And have worked with us, with the engineers of the Ministry of Public Works, and I want to recognize Mr. Lancelot and his team in the Ministry of Public Works for their efforts and the collaboration to ensure that today we are witnessing the signing of a very practical approach to a project that has been very, very challenging. I know, and I want to thank Honorable Defoe because he spoke to the benefits of this road. This is really our attempt at building resilience. So this is not just a road for the sake of a road. But you know, coming to Grand Bay so many times, I realize people don't really worry that much about the road, you know. You drove to come up here, right? Or somebody drove you up. You saw the road. Most of you were terrified. Nah, man, we don't worry about that. We just drive and we just go up and down. We don't worry about that. The only thing we worry about is when it rains, mission blocks. But I have to thank the people of Grand Bay for their patience. Again, I want to say that. Because this road will make it safer for us to traverse from Bagatelle all the way to Loubiere. I want to thank them for that, for understanding and having the patience. But the road safety that we will enhance, the resilience that we'll create, will be to their benefit. And I plead with them today, please have a little patience, have a little tolerance, understanding, as you have the last 8 years or so. And to work with the contractors, work with the government to ensure that we can minimize the impact on residents and road users. But most importantly, to avoid any accidents. This is not an easy piece of road to work on. And I also want to thank the NAO's office, representative, for ensuring that the Chatwell Road will be completed very soon. This will provide for us an alternative route, a bypass as it were, to ensure that we do not find ourselves, or if, unfortunately, there is an accident, that we will have an alternate route to bypass Pishley and to ensure that, well, Bellevue to Pishley, to ensure safety of road users. So I want to thank you for that, and I hope to see the completion of that road. I know there will be opportunities for employment, and this is one of the parts that I'm excited about, because during the construction, there will definitely be opportunities for not only construction workers, but for the other benefits that will come out of this type of activity. We expect to see the circulation of money throughout as workers get employed and will need services, will need food. And I know our vendors also are anxiously awaiting the opportunity to set up. So we thank the government for this. We look forward to the opportunities that it will bring to the South. And we hope, Prime Minister, I don't want to demand too much because we've been waiting. We've been patient. But we hope as the Petit Savan to Dalis Road reopens, that we will soon begin to look at connecting the South to end up somewhere in Soufriere or Scott's Head. We have a few alternatives, and I think we need to start beginning to look at it. D'Alfonsi presents an opportunity to open land and to connect to Petit Colibri. We are not looking anymore at Tetmon to go down that treacherous slope into Soufriere, but we are looking at the opportunity to open agricultural lands for tourism and other activities at the back of Grand Colibri so that we can continue that connection. So that, Dr. Williams, when you leave Dalis, you can go through Petit Savan, go through Fort Seja, Bagatelle, and come across to Grand Bay, head up to Grand Colibri, head at the back, and you can end up in Soufriere, Scott's Head in very little time. So we're hoping that all this will have, I know the Minister of Tourism will be excited about this. So we can open up opportunities for people. So once again, I wish to thank you, Prime Minister, thank the Ministry of Works, Honorable Grant, thank you very much for your leadership in this process. I want to thank our friends from the United Kingdom, the Caribbean Development Bank, for continuing to support this project. Thank you, PS and FS, for selecting this location because you have the very scenic view of the Geneva playing field, well rehabilitated, and unfortunately we lost the game on Sunday. But you know, it is the home play, it is the playing field, it is the grounds of Alec Afanaz, so that you can say that you were close to an area of history. And I am very happy to welcome you here and to thank you once again for joining us this afternoon. Thank you.
An enthusiastic parliamentary representative, Dr. Henderson. The Caribbean Development Bank, based in Barbados, is a regional financial institution which was established by an agreement signed on October 18, 1969 in Kingston, Jamaica, and entered into force on January 26, 1970. We are well aware how important this bank has been to our region's development. Moreover, as an implementing agency of the United Kingdom Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund, the UKCIF, the bank is a critical partner providing solid support to the government and people of Dominica. Projects must be designed to provide critical infrastructure which lay the foundations for growth and prosperity, poverty reduction, and increased resilience to climate change in the Caribbean. These would include roads, bridges, sea defenses, seaports, airports, and other critical projects, and these are all eligible for financing. Obviously, this Loubiere to Bagatelle Road and Bridges Rehabilitation Project, Phase 1, Loubiere to Granby, fits the bill perfectly. Please let us welcome Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones, who is the Acting Vice President of Operations of the Caribbean Development Bank, to deliver remarks on behalf of the CDB. Mrs. Therese Turner-Jones.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Good afternoon, everyone. We have a very long list of people to mention in the protocol list, and I'm not going to mention all of them, but I'm particularly interested in mentioning Your Excellency Sylvanie Burton, the mayor of Roseau, two women who were leaders in Dominica, and of course, Prime Minister Scarrett, and all of the other invited guests here. I particularly also want to mention that online we have viewers, especially from the CDB, so I'm happy to be representing the bank at this time. And of course, this is a story of partnerships today, because without the support of FCDO and the UK government, this event wouldn't be happening. There's already been a lot of mention about the long gestation of this particular project. The last time I was in Dominica was before Hurricane Maria. So it's been a long time that I've been here. I haven't been in Dominica in another life. And what I want to say today is what I've observed on that 6-mile road not just from traveling from out of Roseau to here, and the length of the road that will be transformed by this project. For me, and let me put this in perspective, I'm from the Bahamas. It's very flat. We have no hills. We have no curves around the mountains. In fact, when I travel in a taxi from the airport into Roseau, I typically have to get out and relieve myself because I find it difficult. But I lived in Jamaica for 10 years, the last 10 years, and I found that traversing the mountains of Jamaica, I've become a little bit more accustomed to the hills, but still, that's a dangerous road. But I want to say that this is not about the road. This is really not about the road. This is about what the road is going to do to the 6,000 people living in this area, and what it's going to do for the economic activity of the people who are in that fishing village close by, the farmers in this area, getting their products to market, improving the safety of women and children who live and walk, taking their children to school. But it's also about road safety, cutting down on commuting time, and the transaction costs of transportation, which we know is heavy in a country like Dominica. So, first of all, I want to thank the technical team of Dominica that's worked very hard with our technical team all week, along with the FCDO team, because this is, apart from talking about the mechanics of building this road, it's also about the way in which we're working with your team. One of the most common remarks about CDB and working with countries in the Caribbean, which are small island development states and particularly vulnerable not just to natural hazards but to other external shocks, is that implementation capacity and the capabilities that exist in country is weak. And while we don't disagree that the capabilities need to be improved, we know that by working together, we can work to improve and provide the right kinds of solutions to get the results we want on projects as sophisticated as this one. So I want to encourage, especially the technical teams that we met with earlier today. Someone mentioned there was a book that was on the shelf in the office that we were meeting in on an economic appraisal of transport projects and some models. This book was written in 1971, but it was in your office. And as I was flipping through, I came upon the section that dealt with the economics of roadworks. And as I just mentioned, it's about reducing costs, it's about getting people to where they need to be safely, but it's also about opening up opportunities, it's about connectivity, it's about what CDB is trying to do in countries like Dominica, working with you, especially with your climate resilience strategy, to make sure that the infrastructure that Dominica is putting in place, not only is it going to withstand the next Maria, God forbid, or the next Beryl, or whoever's coming next, but that the infrastructure that we are investing in, the country, as well as the bank, as well as partners like the UK CIF, that the infrastructure will be durable, it will be able to sustain the next type of natural hazard. Sadly, we live in an environment where the next natural hazard is probably going to be worse than the one you saw before. And so we need to build with that in mind. And so here's where we want to put the attention. And in doing that, we need to also educate and make aware the communities in which we're building these projects. This is not just about the government building a road because it sees opportunities for improving this particular infrastructure, but we need to involve the community. We need to talk to parents of children going to school. Do we have the crosswalks in the right places? Are we making sure the contractor is keeping his workers away from harassing women and girls as they're building the road? All of these issues are part of the conversation. So it's not just about building the road. It's not just about turning the sod today for a major project. But this project belongs to all Dominicans, and we need to keep that always in mind. Just a couple of last points. One of the things that I think is remarkable about this project is the innovation to use a road asset management system, which is a digital platform so that the project team will be able to monitor every milestone along the life cycle of this project in real time through a dashboard so that they can see what's happening and what needs to be adjusted and keep the project moving on time. Because for the people who live in this community, the dust nuisance, the noise nuisance, the traffic on the road being stalled by works will be something that they will have to keep a special attention to. And finally, let me just say that one of the biggest issues with infrastructure projects throughout the Caribbean has to do with maintenance. And we talked about this today. It's about making sure that, and I'm saying this for Denise and her colleagues in the Ministry of Finance, we need to make sure that there's regular maintenance budgeted for these projects so that the life cycle of this road, which typically should be about 20 to 25 years, can be extended if maintenance is done on a regular basis. So I want to say that. In the meantime, we look forward to the results of this road. I look forward to coming here in a few years to actually drive on the new road, and I hope that this benefits all the people in this great part of Dominica. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Right now, on the program, we have some entertainment from the Petite Savane Cultural Group. Can we welcome the Petite Savane Cultural Group? Okay. My apologies. We will have the Tradibel Cultural Group perform first now. Let's make them welcome, please.
Alolike le yam pe ke tweet. Si ba mwen moso mwen ke manje bela mo wi. Aide wayo. Weti la 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 la. Ay ay ay. Weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Aide wayo, weti la 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 la, ay ay ay, weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Aide wayo, weti la 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 la, ay ay ay, weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Tambouye mwen, roule tambou ba mwen. Tambouye mwen, roule la ou ye ba mwen. Ay 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 dodo, roule tambou ba mwen. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Aye wayo, weti la 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 la. Ay ay ay, weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Aide wayo, weti la 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 la. Ay ay ay, weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Aide wayo, weti la 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 la. Ay ay ay, weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Tout moun ka di kouma Dominic bel. Tout moun ka di Dominic se yon miel. Ay 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 dodo, Dominic tini l'amou. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Aide wayo, weti la 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 la. Ay ay ay, weti la 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 la. Le mwen gade Dominic mwen we yon power di. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Joube mwen pa ni dite, midi sonne pa ni déjeuner. Soleil couché mwen poko soupe, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Joube mwen pa kodite, midi sonne pa ni déjeuner. Soleil couché mwen poko soupe, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Joube mwen pa ni dite, midi sonne pa ni déjeuner. Soleil couché mwen pa ka soupe, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. Mazoe dewo, dewo, dewo. Mazoe dewo, bam mwen le akay mwen pou mwen roule comme mwen. La salle matin masse en la salle moi si amé. La salle matin masse en la salle moi si content. La salle matin masse en la salle moi si amé. Ay si moi te ni l'argent moi te acheté. La salle matin masse tambouye. La salle matin masse en la salle moi si amé. La salle matin masse en la salle moi si content. La salle matin masse en la Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle mata mas zambouye. La salle mata mas on la sa moi si amé. La salle mata mas on la sa moi si gota. La salle mata mas on la sa moi si amé. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle mata mas zambouye. La salle matama c'est en la salle qui ni chimé. La salle matama c'est en la salle qui ni pogwe. La salle matama c'est en la salle moi ti amé. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle matama stambouye. La salle matama c'est en la salle moi si amé. La salle matama c'est en la salle moi ti gota. La salle matama c'est en la salle moi ti amé. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle matama stambouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle mata mas zambouye. La salle mata mas c'est la salle moi si amé. La salle mata mas c'est la salle moi si gota. La salle mata mas c'est la salle moi si amé. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle mata mas zambouye. La salle matama c'est la salle qui ni roulement. La salle matama c'est la salle qui ni tambour. La salle matama c'est la salle qui ni caresse. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle matama stambouye. La salle matama c'est la salle moi si amé. La salle matama c'est la salle moi si gota. La salle matama c'est la salle moi si amé. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle matama stambouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Zambouye moins oule kala oule la ouye. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle matama stambouye. La salle matama c'est la salle moi si amé. La salle matama c'est la salle moi si gota. La salle matama c'est la salle moi si amé. Ay si moi teni l'argent moi te acheté la salle matama stambouye. Tete si ano puchi ute ale diosa. Tete si ano puchi ute ale diosa. Ay tambouye ma ule kala, ay tambouye ma ule la ouye. Puchi ute ale diosa, puchi ute ni pou fè mwen sa. Ma oui, moi, ma dévossé, mais tout ça, femme, moi, yo pon hele. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Ou se yon mako ki piye mako, ou se yon mako ou an pese. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. On ti sek do la pa men mase, ou ka mande mwen pou an mise. Ou se yon mako ki bien mako, ou se yon mako ou to mako. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Ou se yon mako ki bien mako, ou se yon mako ou to mako. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Ou se yon mako ki bien mako, ou se yon mako ou an pese. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Ma oui, moi, ma dévossé, mais tout ça, femme, moi, yo pon hele. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Ou se yon mako ki bien mako, ou se yon mako ou to mako. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Puchi ou te ale dio, sa puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Ou c'est un mako qui bien mako, ou c'est un mako ou to mako. Puchi ou te ale di yo sa, puchi ou te ni pou fè mwen sa. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pi balon bui mwen. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pi balon bui mwen. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pi balon bui mwen. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pi balon bui mwen. Mi se makal pa maye mwen la, pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pli balon bui mwen. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pli balon bui mwen. Mi se makal pa maye mwen, pa maye mwen la.
Merci Ota. Merci Tradibel. Nous peke mawezo. Give them another round of applause, please. The best time of year in Dominica, Independence season. The government of the United Kingdom pledged its investment of £300 million in vital new infrastructure such as roads, bridges, and ports to help drive economic growth and development across the Caribbean region. This paved the way for the establishment of the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Partnership Fund with the Caribbean Development Bank. Through this fund, grant funding is provided for infrastructure projects in 8 Caribbean countries which are eligible for overseas development assistance, along with 1 UK overseas territory. Our beautiful country, the Commonwealth of Dominica, is one such beneficiary country which is benefiting from the fund. Capital projects, as well as projects of technical assistance, of a technical assistance nature, are eligible for financing from the UK CIF. Mr. Malcolm Gare, please allow us to introduce you and to come to the podium. Mr. Gare is the UK Development Director for the Caribbean, as well as the UK Director to the Caribbean Development Bank. And he will now deliver some remarks on behalf of the UK CIF.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you to the Tradibel Cultural Group for such a warm welcome to the community of Grand Bay. Your Excellency Silvani Burton and Mr. Burton, Honourable Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett, with respect to all other distinguished guests on the podium and in the audience, please let me observe all previous protocols. On behalf of the United Kingdom, I'm delighted to be back in the Nature Island for the groundbreaking for Phase 1 of the rehabilitation of the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road. Firstly, let me commend Prime Minister Scarrett and the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica on their ambition, first established in 2017, to become the world's first climate-resilient nation, and for the considerable progress that you have made so far. The UK has been proud to support Dominica during this time, including by providing financial support to help establish the Climate Resilience Execution Agency of Dominica, CREED, as well as retrofitting medical facilities, including the one here in Grand Bay, and to develop Dominica's first geothermal plant. We welcome Dominica's recent National Resilience Development Strategy, which helps to translate that ambition into action by setting out 7 key development objectives, which include infrastructure resilience, the sustainable use of natural resources, low carbon development, and economic empowerment. The UK has listened, and we want to continue to work in partnership with you to help you realize those objectives. The project we are launching today, Phase 1 of the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road, is a tangible demonstration of the UK's commitment to support Dominica to enhance infrastructure resilience. This is truly a transformative project that will deliver real and tangible benefits for the people of Dominica. This, as my colleague Therese from CDB said previously, this is not just about the road. This is about people. This is about the people who live by the road and who will use it, and whose daily lives it will enhance. In the short run, the project will provide new income-earning opportunities for 300 men and women in construction, most of them from this community. When complete, 18,000 residents will benefit from reduced travel times and improved access to climate-resilient, safer roads. Communities in the south of the island will also benefit from improved access to social services and economic opportunities in the capital. Now, the UK Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, as has been mentioned, builds infrastructure in 8 countries and 1 overseas territory, from Guyana to Antigua and Barbuda. And it's very rewarding for us to see the infrastructure projects starting to take shape. Now, my experience of infrastructure projects is you wait an awfully long time when not much happens, and then you get to a point where things start to happen very quickly. In this case, as also has been mentioned, it's been a very long time waiting without seeing any development. And this is because this particular project has been set by challenges that are not of your making. The devastating impact of Hurricane Maria in 2017, delays caused by the global pandemic, and then subsequent cost inflation, which has affected all countries in northern and southern hemispheres, and which could not be foreseen. And as Dr. Henderson has mentioned, UK fiscal pressures as well. Honourable Prime Minister, I want to commend your team for their patience, their perseverance, and their professionalism. The people that I've been dealing with in the Ministries of Finance and the Ministries of Public Works are world class. They're second to none. I think Dominica can be rightly proud of the performance of its public servants. The UK is pleased to be providing nearly £26 million in grants towards this particular project through our Caribbean Infrastructure Fund, which is a long-standing partnership that we have with the Caribbean Development Bank, who I also credit for their professionalism. So many of them are here today. We're very proud that our infrastructure finance is delivered in a responsible and sustainable manner, with a focus on boosting resilience, improving access, reducing poverty, safeguarding the environment, and taking into account, above all, the needs of local communities, all of which help to ensure that new infrastructure has long-term and sustainable development impact. On that note, we also congratulate the government of Dominica for the work you've already done on establishing a new road asset management system for this project. Now, that doesn't sound very exciting, but let me assure you, this is the best in class in the Caribbean. This is a model for other countries to adopt. Of course, this depends upon continuing to finance the ongoing maintenance of the road. And we encourage you and colleagues in the Ministry of Finance to ensure that that happens. This will ensure that the roads endure for many years. In closing, I wanted to say that in my job, I'm not allowed to exercise favoritism. So it would not be appropriate for me to say that one of the 8 countries in the Caribbean which we work in is my favorite, but perhaps I could say it like this. The other 7 countries are my least favorites. I'm very proud on behalf of my country to support Dominica our Commonwealth partner and long-term friend on your path to resilience. And I look forward very much to traveling the new road when the work is complete. Thank you and good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Gare, for reconfirming that the United Kingdom government is supportive of our government in the development assistance provided to us. We now ask Honorable Fidel Grant, the Minister for Public Works, Public Utilities, and the Digital Economy, to address us. Please welcome Honorable Fidel Grant.
Your Excellency, Silvani Burton, President of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mr. Burton. Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, and Mrs. Scarrett. Your Excellency, Charles Savre and Mrs. Savre. Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, Parliamentary Representative for the Granby constituency. Honorable Julian Defoe, Parliamentary Representative for the Petit Savan constituency. My ministerial colleague, Honorable Shakira Lockhart-Hippolyte, other members of Cabinet, Your Excellency, members of the Diplomatic Corps, honorable members of Parliament, Your Worship, Sandra Ermin Roye, Karen Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet, Financial Secretary, Ms. Denise Edwards, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Public Works, Mr. Emil Lancelot, Mr. Malcolm Gare, Development Director for the Caribbean and the UK Director to the Caribbean Development Bank, Mrs. Teresa Turner-Jones from the CDB, Ms. Carlene Roberts, Director of Major Capital Projects, representatives of our contractors, Sotradom and OCM Inc., chairpersons of the Village Councils of the South, Father Branca John, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am filled with joy today as we embark on yet another transformative project, one of which will profoundly impact neighboring communities and Dominica by extension. Building resilience does not only mean our ability to safely weather storms, but the ability to return to normal in a timely manner post-disaster. Following our experience with Hurricane Maria and other weather-related impacts, this government have been steadfast in our mission to build back better, and we continue to take decisive actions to build a resilient country for our people. This road network saves a portion of our citizens who are the most productive in agriculture, small business, culture, and sports. And that is why we have persevered with this project despite the setbacks and the challenges we encountered with financing. Phase 1 of the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road will comprise of 10 kilometers of road rehabilitation, the construction of 5 bridges, slope stabilization interventions, improved drainage, road widening, and road realignment. The total cost of this project is 116 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. The 2 contractors selected for this project is Sotradom and Offshore Civil and Marine, Inc. The supervising consultant, Mott McDonald UK Limited. The project consists of 3 additional subcomponents: development of a road asset management system, development of a gender-responsive road safety awareness strategy, and support for our farming and fishing cooperatives in the project-affected communities. A road project goes beyond laying asphalt and building bridges. A good road network does not only provide a smooth ride, but it reduces on travel time and vehicle maintenance. This road rehabilitation means a lot to our bay oil producers of Forseja, the fishermen of Stowe, the vegetable farmers of Tetmon, and all the bus drivers and commuters on the route on a daily basis. It is my understanding that since the world-renowned Breakfast Fest continues to grow, bigger and bigger each year. The area has seen an establishment of a vibrant Airbnb sector. We are confident that this access will make it easier for these properties to increase in residence. As I prepared today for this activity, I reflected on the work put in to get us here today. Our fallen comrade, the late Edward Regis, affectionately known as Comrade Ed, came to mind. His passion for this project will always resonate with us as we honor his vision for what he would call the Grand Bay Road. Ladies and gentlemen, residents, I want to assure you, while other such projects during construction, the stage is always difficult. We will see an increase in economic activity. We'll see an increase in consumption of goods and services, but I urge you to bear patience with us. I therefore urge all businesses along the route and neighboring communities to prepare yourselves for the business opportunities that will become available. On a larger scale, the country's economy is stand to benefit from the purchase of construction materials, the purchase of fuel, remittances to the Inland Revenue, Social Security, and other such activities. I want to urge users of the road, especially in the neighboring communities, to be patient during construction. We assure you that the benefit will surpass the disruptions and inconveniences you will experience during the implementation of the project. The safety of road users remains a priority for this ministry and the government. I urge road users to be mindful of the workers and heavy equipment operating on the road. I also remind the contractors to do your utmost to minimize hazards, to flag stationary machinery and equipment when necessary, and put all the systems in place to ensure the safety of our road users. I would like to commend the National Employment Program, the NEP, for the outstanding work and the maintenance of the area. The drive today was refreshing and beautiful. I would like to thank Honorable Defoe and Honorable Henderson for their support and their outstanding work to make this project a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, projects like this road rehabilitation is yet another step to building a dynamic Dominica. On completion, this and many other projects like the International Airport, the Marina, the cable car, the Roseau Enhancement Project, our hotels, the geothermal, the East Coast Road will lead to a more marketable and attractive Nature Isle, Dominica. All these investments will lead to an increase in visitor arrival to our beautiful island. This means there will be an increase in consumption of goods and services across the island. This is the goal of this Dominica Labour Party government, to increase job and business opportunities for Dominicans, thereby creating generational wealth for our children. Leadership continues to play a vital role in our country's development. The Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett continues to deliver on the vision of a dynamic Dominica. I would like to thank the UK government and the CDB for partnering with us on this project. I would also like to thank Honorable Dr. Irvin McIntyre and Ms. Denise Edwards from the Ministry of Finance for the guidance during the tendering process. I'd also like to express a heartfelt thanks to P.S. Lancelot and the rest of the public works staff for their work and their continued support within the ministry. Together, we are not just building roads and bridges, but we are building a clear pathway to connectivity, economic growth, and stronger and safer communities. I thank you. Do have a good afternoon.
Let us give another round of applause to the Minister for Public Works and the Public Utilities and his team for their commitment to this cause. We will now ask the Petit Savan Cultural Group to provide us with some entertainment at this time. the Petit Savan Cultural Group, let us make them feel welcome. Thank you very much, Petit Savan Cultural Group, Sate Biedu. PM, I noticed you were taking special note of the dance. Whitey Kubuli, the Commonwealth of Dominica, Isle of Beauty, Isle of Splendor. We can all agree that our beautiful country has inherent challenges to our development agenda. Yet, the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica remains steadfast in its pursuit to make our country truly resilient. The Honorable Prime Minister, in particular, continues to be a true champion and leader in that regard. Please, let us give a round of applause as we welcome our Prime Minister to the podium.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me first of all recognize our President, Your Excellency Sylvanie Burton, and Mr. Burton, my wife, Honorable Melissa Scarrett, Your Excellency Charles Savary, our former President, and Mrs. Savary, Honorable Fidel Grant, Honorable Dr. Vince Henderson, Honorable Shakira Lockhart Hippolyte, Honorable Julian Defoe, and my other cabinet and parliamentary colleagues present, the Mayor of the City of Roseau, Mr. Malcolm Gare, the representative of the Government of the United Kingdom, Ms. Turner Jones of the CDB, Father Branca John, our dear members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, ladies and gentlemen, friends all, good evening. I want to express my deepest gratitude on behalf of the government and people of Dominica and on my own behalf to the government of the United Kingdom, whose funding and belief in this project made it possible. Your trust in our beautiful island is not misplaced. And I assure you, the fruits of this partnership will be felt for generations to come. We also appreciate the support we have received from the UK in advancing our climate resilience goals through the Climate Resilience Execution Agency for Dominica, CREED. Additionally, we are thankful for the $36 million, that is a grant, from the UK government for upgrading 4 major water systems as part of the Water System Strategic Development Plan, a project set to begin later this year. Mr. Gare, please continue.
Check 1, 2.
Well, I'm checking this one. I apologize on their behalf. Mr.
Greg.
Greg, please convey our sincerest thanks to the government and people of the United Kingdom. We are truly grateful for the assistance received from the UK government. To the Caribbean Development Bank, whose guidance and collaboration were invaluable, we extend our thanks as well. The CDB believed in the power of this vision, and we are forever grateful. Let us not forget the people of the southern communities, the farmers, the bus drivers, who have shown patience and fortitude throughout the process. This road is for you. It was your daily realities, your needs, your hope that pushed us to this point of the signing of the contracts. This project is about laying the groundwork for continued growth and progress, not only in this part of Dominica, but across the entire island. Once completed, this road will provide a much safer and more reliable route for residents and visitors alike. It will reduce the risk of accidents and open up new opportunities for business and enterprise as people move more freely and confidently. Roads, by the very nature, and the veins that connect the body of our nation, are the veins that connect the body of our nation. And this government understands that good roads mean economic growth. Roads mean opportunity. Roads mean a better life for every Dominican. It is said, if you want development, build roads. And so, we are building, not just here, but across the entire island. The West Coast Road, the Layu Road, the nearly completed East Coast Road. These are the lifelines of our nation. They are the foundation stones upon which we are building a stronger Dominica, brick by brick, mile by mile. And so, you recall, it was said that people cannot eat concrete because of the massive investments the government was making in road construction. We did so because we understand the importance of roads to one's economic development and prosperity, and we remain committed to this objective. The Loubiere to Granby Road will be no different. It will reduce accidents, open new opportunities, and enhance the safety and comfort to every person who uses it. I encourage the youth, the small business owners, the farmers of this area to seize this moment. Now is the time to turn your business ideas into reality, to use this new road as a gateway to success, to take control of your financial future. Dominica is moving forward, and I want you to be part of that progress and prosperity. And so, my friends, we are here, we are a nation that has been tested many times, from external economic shocks to the relentless forces of nature. We have faced it all. But look at us now. Look at how we continue to rise, to rebuild, to move forward with bold strides in our country. This Labour Party government is not one to be content with mere promises. We are a government of action. It's working now? We are a government of action. It works now, right? All right, thank you very much. We are a government of action, a government that delivers. As a matter of fact, one can say without any fear of contradiction that this government has a legacy of delivering to the people of Dominica. This road, you will see the construction of 5 bridges, 2 of which is in the Rosa South constituency. And I remember when Dr. Henderson made reference to the Mitcham Bridge. When the first design came for the Mitcham Bridge, I rejected it completely. But in rejecting the design of the bridge, it caused the cost of the project to go up. And I said, there's no way we could leave out the Mitcham Bridge in the consideration. And so to allow this Mitcham Bridge to be part of the project in the manner in which the government wanted it to be, a true bridge, we borrowed additional funds from the CDB to put it for the British government gave to us to allow us to move ahead with the project today. And so this was many years of relentless engagement. There were challenges beyond our control, completely. But I must say we got the fullest of cooperation from the CDB and from the UK government, working with the local officials here to get the best product possible. So we thank all concerned. And so in these coming months and years, you will see even more projects take shape, what we call big-ticket projects, like a Cabridge Marina, the Cruise Village, the Roseau Road Enhancement Project, the geothermal project which is on its way, and our flagship project, the International Airport. These are not just symbols of development. They are the stepping stones to a future where every Dominican has the tools to succeed, where every village and town is connected, and where every family can dream and achieve. And let us not forget, this is a labor of love. The Labour Party, your government, has worked tirelessly to build these roads, schools, and opportunities for you here in Dominica. It is a labor of love for Dominica, for her people, for her future. We are laying the groundwork, ensuring that every stone we place, every road we pave, brings us closer to the Dominica we envision, a place of opportunity, dignity, and hope for all. I want to again reiterate my profound gratitude to the UK government. They stood with us throughout all of these challenges. And when the recommendation came to cut the budget, they kept Dominica safe and secure under this funding. But I want to say to you, there are 2 important memories where the relationship of the UK government is in respect to our resilience building, which shall remain etched in my mind and my heart. After the hurricane, I visited the United Kingdom, and I met then with the Secretary of Overseas Development, Priti Patel. And it is at that meeting with Priti Patel that the whole idea of CREED came about, and the UK's involvement in supporting a mechanism towards assisting us in creating a structure that would better help us achieve our desired objective of building a resilient nation. And secondly, very importantly for us, is the visit of the then His Royal Highness Prince Charles, who is now our king. Our king, I like the guy a lot. His Majesty King Charles III, who visited us here in the South, and who visited Peachland, and who visited Belvishop and went to the farm and engaged us in discussions on our recovery efforts. And so we say our grateful thanks to him for the attention which he has placed on Dominica. And I know any Dominican who the king meets, he'll always ask about Dominica and how we're doing, and with a particular detail that he places on Dominica. As a matter of fact, when we declared the world sanctuary, I received a personal letter from him congratulating us and indicating that he stands ready to continue to support us. And so a lot of the support that we receive from NGOs and international organizations are already coming from His Majesty the King efforts of assisting Dominica in its development. Finally, I want to thank the staff of the Ministry of Public Works under the leadership of Mr. Lancelot, who does not say much but is a very decent and diligent Dominican, and who I have the greatest admiration and respect for. And the Financial Secretary and a team, and our friends from Creed who work, the engineers, Ambassador Barron and others who work so diligently in the discussions with the CDB. And of course, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Permanent Secretary, in connecting on the diplomatic front. Without your efforts, we couldn't have been here today signing these contracts. I want to say to the contractors that we need you to be diligent, we need you to be efficient in the execution of this contract. And to say to the supervisors that we require even a greater diligence on your part to ensure that we get the quality that has been defined by the designs and in engineering, so that we can truly build a real resilient structure road in here in the parts of Dominica. And just to say to you before I leave this podium, for us to understand the challenges of building roads in Dominica, as you know, between Bellevue-Chopin and Pichelin is a very vulnerable section of this road. And there are several areas in this part of the road that we will have to build retaining walls and also deal with slope stabilization. And there'll be a major water crossing that we have to address above Pichelin. And in preparation of this, for this project, we've had to divert funds to construct the Chatwell Road, over $6 million. Now, there are other benefits to the Chatwell Road because there are farmers there and also a wonderful place for tourism. But we had to advance it in the event, or God forbid, there would be some difficulties between that section of the road that residents of Grand Bay and Bagatelle and their communities would be able to get to the city of Roseau unimpeded. And so one can appreciate what we could have done with this $6 million in some other parts. And while we appreciate the rivers and we thank God for it and the many waters that we have, but also poses a challenge to us. Just on 6 miles of road, we have to build 5 bridges. 5 bridges plus several water crossings. There's no other country, and my dear sister, Ms. Jones, mentioned the Bahamas. I have been to the Bahamas, and any crossing I've seen is really for aesthetics, and not because you absolutely need it. But here when we build a bridge, because we absolutely need the bridge to connect communities. And so, and these bridges cost money. On the East Coast Road, we built 5 bridges on the East Coast Road. But during construction, in order to prepare for construction, we had to build 5 temporary bridges, Bailey bridges. I won't tell you the cost of placing those temporary bridges. And you know what we could have done with this money? We're doing the geothermal project, which is going to be a transformation and really a push for economy, because we're hoping that it will bring down the cost of energy, the cost of our light bills, both at our homes and our businesses. But to get the equipment to load her, we had to widen the roads, the corners. Cost us over $8 million. And I wish it was a rubber band that I could have stretched And once the trucks passed, I could release it, and it came back to shape. And so these are the kind of challenges that we have to face as a government in order to bring the kind of development that we need and we deserve in Dominica. But I can say to you, as we have done always, we are committed to this task and to ensure that we bring development to every corner of Dominica so that everyone in our country can benefit from the investments that we're making to create a better way of life for themselves and for their families and for the entire nation. So we thank God for his many blessings. We pray to God that we will have no accidents and incidents on this road during construction and after construction. And we thank God for our beautiful country, Dominica. And we also thank God for wonderful partners like the UK as they're assisting us here in this very important project. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. At this time, we call Mr. Emil Lancelot, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Works, Public Utilities, and the Digital Economy, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Your Excellency, Sylvanie Burton and Mr. Burton, Honorable Prime Minister Roosevelt Scarrett and his wife, Honorable Scarrett, I'm representative of the city of Roseau, or the constituency of Roseau, Your Excellency Charles Savre, former President, Honorable Vince Henderson, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Fidel Grant, Minister for Public Works, Honorable Julian Defoe, Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture, Honorable Shakira Lokati-Pollitt, Minister of State in the Ministry of Public Works, other honorable members of Parliament or Cabinet, Your Excellency, the members of the Diplomatic Corps, honorable members of Parliament, Your Worship, Sandra Ermine-Royer, Mayor of Roseau, Ms. Karen Prevost, Secretary to the Cabinet, Financial Secretary, Ms. Denise Edwards, other permanent secretaries, Mr. Malcolm Gray of UKCIF, Mrs. Teresa Turner-Jones, Vice President of Operations of the Caribbean Development Bank, Ms. Carlin Roberts, Director of the Major Capital Projects Office, representatives of the contractor, chairpersons of the Southern Village Councils, Father Branca John, members of the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my distinct honor to extend our deepest gratitude to everyone who has contributed to making this groundbreaking ceremony for the Loubiere to Bagatelle Road and Bridge Rehabilitation Project a resounding success. First and foremost, I wish to express our heartfelt thanks to our Prime Minister, Honorable Dr. Roosevelt Scarrett, for delivering the feature address, as well as Honorable Fidel Grant, Honorable Vince Henderson, and Honorable Julian Defoe for sharing insightful remarks. Your presence here today is a clear reflection of your unwavering commitment to the development of our nation's infrastructure and overall progress. We are also immensely grateful to Mr. Malcolm Gray and Mrs. Teresa Turner-Jones for taking time out of their demanding schedules to grace this occasion with words of encouragement. Your continued support, along with that of the institutions you represent, is deeply appreciated and essential to the success of projects like this. Our gratitude extends to our project partners, including the contractors, the design and supervision team, and all stakeholders who have worked diligently to bring us to this significant milestone. Your expertise, dedication, and collaborative efforts are instrumental in turning this ambitious vision into reality. We are confident that under your guidance, this project will meet the highest standards and greatly enhance connectivity in this vital region of Dominica. A special thank you is owed to the community members of Loubiere, Bagatelle, and the surrounding areas. Your patience, understanding, and cooperation during the planning stages of this project have been invaluable. This project is not just about infrastructure, as was said before, but is about improving the lives of people in these communities and ensuring benefits for generations to come. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge and thank the individuals who worked tirelessly behind the scenes to make today's event such a success. Your dedication has ensured that this groundbreaking ceremony is not only well organized, but also a memorable occasion for us all. Firstly, I wish to recognize the organizing committee made up of the Permanent Secretary of the Office of the Prime Minister, Missy Henderson, the Financial Secretary, Ms. Dennis Edwards, as well as Ms. Carlin Roberts and Dr. General Joseph of the Major Capital Projects Unit. Ms. Roberts, your support and that of your team has not gone unnoticed. I must also extend special recognition to Mrs. John and the staff of the Ministry of Public Works, who went above and beyond the call of duty to ensure today's success. Additionally, Mr. Amo Thomas and his team deserve commendation for their efforts in preparing the area for today's proceedings. In driving to the site this afternoon, I was really impressed with the work that the NEP team did in preparing the road. I must say that this team must be one of the best in the country. To the staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we appreciate your assistance with the protocol arrangements. Our gratitude also goes to GXOX for providing and setting up the tents, lighting and sound, and to those involved in the beautification and decorations that contributed to the pleasant atmosphere here today. I want to express my appreciation to Tradibel and the Petit Savan Cultural Group who put on an exhibition of the heritage of this area. I was well entertained, I'm sure that you all were also. Lastly, but not necessarily the least, I extend my deepest thanks to everyone present here. Your attendance signifies your interest and support for this important project, which will undoubtedly contribute to the growth, safety, and development of not only the project route, but Dominica as a whole. As we break ground today, let us look forward to with optimism, to the successful completion of the Loubiere to Granby Road and Bridge Rehabilitation Project and the positive impact it will have on our communities. Thank you once again, and may this project serve as a beacon of progress for our nation.
Thank you, P.S. Lancelot. At this point in our ceremony, we are going to have the actual ceremonial turning of the soil. What I would like to ask that we allow Her Excellency, the President, Mrs. Sylvanie Burton, and Mr. Burton to leave, followed by the head table to go to the site, and then everybody else after. So I crave your indulgence as we allow Her Excellency to leave. Please remain in place whilst we allow the members of the head table to go to the site for the soil turning. After the soil turning, we would like to encourage those who have attended to have refreshments. The refreshments are at the back of this tent. So please, thank you again. And the special invited guests, the members of parliament, and that they will proceed to the pavilion building. Thank you so much for your cooperation. Foreign, we have to make sure.
Alan, I see now. You solid? Yeah, man. That's about it. I can make all lines and things. Now over there they go in there. Papa.
They don't. Listen, but nothing happening. No, they don't. Yeah, I can switch off because everything done.
nothing happened.